Governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this
lord.
an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
He did not.
My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our
Is
matters.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Legally Speaking on Planet Radio 101.1 FM and Spectrum TV. Spectrum TV is on Star Times and free-to-air television. It's a warm Friday evening for a program such as this where we discuss laws and all the other fun parts of legislations and judicial activities in Nigeria. All right, today I have with me in the studio to do the usual discussion. Hannah Isen. Hannah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, like I always want to emphasize, Hannah is a teacher. She's not a lawyer, and she's a social advocate. And would I add a critic for you? Maybe
No,
I can't
don't.
add critic, but you do criticize sometimes.
At home.
All right, that's Hannah Isen for you, and I think we have fun time today. Today we are going to look at two things: the constitutional amendments by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think that's the first constitutional amendment he has signed into law, which borders around the alteration, the fifth alteration, that's number 37, Bill of 2003, where the ages of judicial officers, that's judges, have been harmonized to 70. We'll also look at the fracas at the National State House of Assembly, where two speakers have already emerged. All right, but I think we'll start with the judicial arm of government, where the bill has been signed into law, amending the constitutional provision where judges now have a uniform age range. Hannah, right now, courts, regular courts, that's the High Court of Nigeria, which includes the State High Court and the Federal High Court, the industrial courts, and the several courts of concurrent coordinate jurisdiction now enjoy the same privileges as their counterparts in the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, retiring at age 70. Previously, the retirement age was 65, compulsory retirement age was 65 for all judges across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the law now says they'll stay up till 70 years old. Let's hear you appreciate it.
My real thoughts, I think 70 years is old. But if Supreme Court judges were allowed to stay up to 70 before they retire, I don't see any reason why the High Court judges shouldn't be made to stay up to 70 years. But I'm curious, what about magistrates? Are magistrates also included in the 70 years?
Well, the magistrate courts are usually governed by the State Judicial Council. That's not the NJC. The NJC meaning National Judicial Council. Now, by that, it means that the states would have the final say on the ages of the magistrates at retirement, and usually too, the state JCs love to follow or almost copycat the federal JCs. So it's possible that the states will also have to amend their laws.
So at the moment, do magistrates retire at 65?
At the moment, magistrates retire, yes, at 65.
Okay.
At 65, you know, it's not a regular appointment where you say 35 years of service or 60, you know, whichever one comes first. And now it's an appointment outside the regular civil service appointment. So that comes with age of retirement, which is probably 60, 65. Not too sure of the 60 for the magistrate or 65 for the
you're
magistrate.
not sure. So since we are talking about
yes.
High Court for now, so let's stick to that.
So at the High Court level, the expectation was that I have some judges that were about to retire this year, and in fact they were rounding up their paperwork. I have those that retired just recently, about March or thereabout, and are so relieved that they're going back home.
Yeah.
Now 5 years will be added compulsorily to those that were already one step out of the door.
Well, I've heard you use the word compulsory. Does it mean that there's no voluntary retirement for a judge if a judge feels like I don't want to continue till 70?
That's what one judge said yesterday. That there's voluntary retirement. I'll still leave this service. But you see, sometimes when you are having service to humanity, if you want to call it so, you would want to feel some compassion to stay in and finish this case or finish that case that you feel can assist the litigants. You know, unfortunately, these cases never end. The cases keep coming, they keep coming. Every other day you go to court, you see new cases, and you're worried. How do I manage this? How would I leave it halfway? It has to start de novo. There are some matters that have been in court since 1990s. I mean, like especially traditional matters of land. The original litigants have all dead and gone. This will be about the third or fourth generation, and the matter is still persisting in court. Why? Because judges retire, new judges take over, and the matter starts afresh. Lawyers die, litigants, the matters get transferred to new judges, and they keep starting all over again. It stays in court.
Well, I don't think that's a very good reason for saying that retirement age should be extended.
Of course,
because a judge can be 74, and a case comes up. So because that judge is feeling compassionate and wants to complete, that judge should stay till 76 and complete. Okay, like it has now been extended to 70. Sorry, because 75 came into mind. I understand in the UK it is 75. So now that it has been extended to 70 and a case comes up that you're still working on and you're almost 70, so should you be allowed to stay beyond 70 so that you will finish your case? And that's not.
Now, I think it came when you said something about compulsory retirement. Compulsory retirement means no matter if you recall the Orji Sapali
I said voluntary retirement.
I know. No, there was a time you said compulsorily, must they retire at that? I say yes, compulsory. If it is voluntary, you want to stay on and do a matter.
No, what I mean is voluntary. Can't you retire before you're 70?
You can. There are a lot of people who wouldn't if they say are in good health. Yes, they wouldn't. They would just want to just conclude their bid and feel I have retired, having duly served my country. Not like you ran away from the war front, okay? Remember the case of Orji Sakalu at the Federal High Court. The judge was elevated to the Court of Appeal. But because he still felt he had something to offer, He said, okay, before I'm called, I'm sworn in, let's round up this matter. And that caused a constitutional issue. Because
that
when he got
was
to
a
the Supreme
different
Court,
thing. He knew that he was supposed to
no,
leave.
he did not know. Yes, he was elevated. He wasn't sworn in. So he thought, okay, until I'm sworn in, I can tidy up what I am doing here and move. All right? Then when he got in there, when the matter went to the Supreme Court said, upon elevation, you're no longer a state high court judge. Upon that elevation. So you cannot take a fiat from either the Court of Appeal president or the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to continue a matter. Now, when you are transferred from one jurisdiction to the other, sometimes you take a fiat to close out some matters that are of urgent importance and matters that have reached defense stage, and they call it extended jurisdiction. Okay?
Okay.
So in this case where you feel this matter has been in court for a very long time and I'm at the verge of closing it up, let me close it out, then continue my... The law said no, you are no longer a judge of the High Court. Same thing happens now. If there's a matter that is so important, so urgent, and you do it a day after your 78th birthday, you're no longer a judge of the State High Court. So everything you do will be outside jurisdiction. Whether or not they pronounce you as retired. As soon as you hit that birthday, official birthday, everything collapses on that day.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious about you saying that that judge didn't know. I mean, you've been informed that you're no longer a judge of, was it Court of Appeal?
High Court. No,
High Court.
They didn't inform him he was no longer a judge. They informed him he's been elevated to the Court of Appeal.
When you're told that you're elevated, it means you're no longer there. You've been promoted from primary 1 to primary 2.
You see, if
so
that
why
judge,
still
if
saying
it was
that
that
he
straightforward,
didn't
I'm
know?
telling you the judge wouldn't have continued on that matter. But it wasn't that straightforward. It's only at the interpretation stage that he now realized that he wasn't. All right, but I think what I am more concerned about has been the way a 65 to 70-year-old person will manage the volume of work we have at the courts, at our courts.
Well,
If you see the volume of work at the High Court, a judge was telling us on Thursday in court that he's so overwhelmed with work that right now he has 500 cases in his docket, and every day new matters keep coming in. 500 matters. How do you exhaust that? And right now, some judges, at least 3 or 4, are off to election petition tribunal, and their courts are left empty. So judges that are present here running for what we call emergency duties, just to take up some fundamental right matters and bail applications, urgent matters in those courts. So where are we going to?
if you heard me, the first thing that came out of my mouth was that I think 70 is old. And but I remembered that in the UK they are only even 75, maybe for the Supreme Court. Well, you said something that the volume of work for people in Court of Appeal and Supreme Court is less than what.
No, not necessarily.
Then what will you say?
What I mean is that, okay, I emphasize the volume of work at the High Court, but it's worse at the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
So I believe that they are the ones who agitated for this increase.
Not
because
necessarily.
in my field, I know that teachers wanted a retirement age increased from 60 to 65. So the judges must have wanted that increase. So maybe they feel that they are up to the task. So tomorrow they may want to stay till 80. If they feel that they are up to the task, fine, let them stay.
No, it's not about staying. It's not about staying because you want to keep yourself busy. It's about what? Productivity. It's about productivity. Okay, let's look at the US. Let's look at the US and the UK. In US and UK, what you have is sometimes a jury system. In a jury system, the work is done for you by the jurors. They come and return a verdict of guilty or not guilty, and you write a ruling based on that. You're not even expected to write. They don't write. They have stenographers in all the courts. If you come to Nigeria, everything you say, the judge hand writes in long hands. They don't have secretaries who write shorthands and transcribe. They don't have stenographers. It's the judge that writes. So if you're taking 5 witnesses, the judge has to record the 5 witnesses with long hand. So judges sit from morning till almost night in some cases. And when they go back home, their back aches. Okay, what I thought they would do, especially at the Supreme Court, would have been to increase the number of courts. Maybe make Supreme Courts regional. So you have the Southeast Supreme Court, the Northeast Supreme Court. That way, the volume of work that goes to the Supreme Court is reduced. Now, the Constitution provides for, I think, a 23-man Supreme Court justices. Okay. We must amend to probably increase it to 100, so that you have several panels of Supreme Court justices sitting at a time. If I tell you that there are some matters I filed at the Court of Appeal in 2011, 2012, till today they've not been heard. And after that, we might be heading to the Supreme Court. So what's the lifespan of a single case from High Court to final judgment?
And that's a different amendment. I'm pretty sure that they will work on that. So bringing it up here in a case where we are talking about increasing the age of retirement age of High Court judges to 70, I don't think they were doing that to reduce the work at the Supreme Court level.
Oh, it was a personal...
No, that wasn't why this amendment was done. Yes, they just wanted...
Yeah, but what don't you think that the amendment could have been carried along? When you get to the court, you want to make amendments in court, provisions at the court. Why don't you look at the entirety of it to say, okay, what else can we amend? And people would have said, either you make a regional Supreme Court, or you increase the number of justices at the Supreme Court, so that you have several panels of them sitting at the same time, still in Abuja, if that was the case. So they will now build more courtrooms, right? And whilst you have a set of panels, maybe the older justices, concentrating on the election petitions, as the case might be, other ones will concentrate on churning out civil appeals and criminal appeals. The level of what we call backroom lobbying, which amounts to corruption, to have your case heard at the Supreme Court is alarming. To be listed in the first place, to be heard, is alarming.
There is a procedure for, what did you call it, amendment. So it doesn't have, like I said, the concentration was on getting High Court judges to be there up till 70. Nothing stops the request for the Supreme Court thing you're talking about if it's considered necessary. So you can start making noise for that.
Are you recommending that I buy a ticket and go for the House of Assembly in my constituency?
Or if that's what it takes, or
you
speak to the person representing you to
or go to the
sponsor. Yes. So you can get as many lawyers as possible to send the bill to someone so that it can be presented. Yes, because from the sound of it, it's necessary.
It's obviously necessary.
Necessary, so you should start working on that.
Well, I would really.
Then on the election tribunal thing, it's once in 4 years.
Yeah, but you see,
So
once in 4 years takes offsets a whole lot of things in the cycle of judicial administration, because that once in 4 years takes over 6 months of absenteeism in court, and when you add it to the annual break of the judiciary, so it's almost like 1 year lost. So you restart the court when the judges come back, and sometimes these judges come back and a month or two thereafter, because even after the 6 months, they have to take their own holiday. 1 month, you must give them a break.
Fine.
Then the judges are transferred.
So start advocating for that Supreme Court increase in the Supreme Court thing. Somebody always starts something. Yes.
All right. I think when we come back, we will have to go on a short break. So when we come back, we look at the Zamfara State lawmakers. Remember last week we were discussing the issue of divided assembly, and we looked at those states
yes.
and how they ran with 10 members, and we're praying. I don't know if you joined me in that prayer.
No, I didn't.
I know you did join me in that prayer. We're praying that the new administration, this new week that we are entering, will have less incidents of such nature. But lo and behold, one of the fastest news that came to us was what happened in Zamfara State, where there's been a breakdown of law and order in their state assembly.
Is there really a breakdown of
I
law
would
and
say
order?
so. I would say so. It's akin to what happened. I mean, Nigerians don't learn. There's no history in Nigeria. Maybe we have history in Nigeria, then we will consider things that happened before and ensure that it doesn't happen again. But so we'll look at that when we come back, and then we will open the phone lines too. So we have our guests calling, or audience. Yes, they will call in and have a conversation with us on that issue. Bear their minds, both on the issue of the constitutional amendment and that of the National State Assembly. The short break beckons.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, welcome back to Legally Speaking. I am with Hannah Essien, and we've been discussing so far the issue of constitutional amendment for the increase or uniformity of the ages of justices of all the courts. By all the courts, I mean courts of records. Not the magistrate courts are not inclusive, at least for now. And we want to move into the discussion on Nasarawa State House of Assembly, and we will open the phone lines from now. The numbers to call are on your screen, and for those listening to us, the number to call is 090-222-31011. I repeat that number, 090-222-31011. The alternative number to call will be 070-454-17707. I repeat that alternative number, 070-454-17707. All right, Hannah. So, at the Nasarawa State House of Assembly, it's a 24-man member assembly. The understanding is that following the proclamation, 13 members, yes, 13 members voted and elected a speaker and a deputy speaker, as it is expected to happen. But there was a breakaway faction that went to the local government and chieftaincy affairs, and that breakaway, yes, that no, it was at the office of local government and chieftaincy affairs that they broke to, and I got a mace from one of the local governments, and also inaugurated their house, had a speaker and a deputy speaker, and right now there's a divided house.
I understand that the former Speaker of the House wanted to be re-elected. So
He's been elected 3 times now.
yes, so his faithful members went with him and elected him outside the assembly
And there are 10 of
complex.
them.
Yes. They went and elected him outside the assembly complex, borrowed a mace from a local government council, and conducted their own election. It's funny.
I mean, it's quite funny. Well, when I say funny, maybe I should use the word sad. When you consider that these things happen perennially, every time there is an election, issues like this crop up, and one will be thinking, is it not possible for us to just have a lesson from the past and say, okay, this happened in Rivers State, this happened in... You guys also point at the governor of the state who's had interest in how the leadership of the house is composed. Well, one would say, must the governor be that interested to the point of scattering the house? Okay? But yet, I'm sure maybe the governor could come out to say, I don't have any interest. Whoever comes out, I'll work with. Recall that last week when we discussed on Edo State, the former Edo House of Assembly.
Yes.
We said they were, the same thing is about happening here.
Let's come to that night's meeting. They know what they're doing. If the ones that stayed inside, others in I think they say it's true. It's yes. I didn't read about doors being shut.
Minds on what to do, so they moved.
Is that they've taken a step forward where I think there's I understand that somewhere to go elect their own. It can't. How do you 10 of you elect some
the minority? But you see, there's this strength in the new house was proclaimed, and
so that means and get yourself elected.
Sworn in by us. You know, that's what happened, and the doors were shut.
I think it's all a matter, from what I've seen, this whole a governor trying to.
I think I would imagine that whether or not and that they have a voice to represent who they want to.
Its case is I claim to elect him as a speaker of. They hope to achieve by having 2 speakers.
One would say that the one outside the assembly complex has the previous years. The governor sends and involved in his administration.
With the house of
you don't understand where. Upon proclamation, he probably would have still do what they have to do.
Because
they don't need. They've gotten a quorum.
Yes.
It's a quorum.
What I'm saying is, what elect somebody else out for 180 days.
Okay.
But if I'm not going to do, the governor will now
31011. There was an issue with the non-2 presidents emerge, and the president that's most powerful will be the one that is sons and recognizes, not not the persons that emerged. So I've seen that happen, and in 2 locations, which one he wants to recognize. I've imagined this kind of thing happening at Tasarawa State, where there will be 2 people flying the flag, because like I said, the report has it that 2 of them are riding around with security vehicles.
Fine.
So who is funding the other one?
It doesn't need to be funded. I guess
he can acquire it.
He was the old speaker, so he can still be riding around with his old
security outfit.
Yes, his old security outfit. But we are on legally speaking now, so let's not talk about 2 people moving around. What does the law say?
Exactly. Because if the law allows members after the proclamation to select their leadership, and the people that were in the house designated as a house of assembly,
yes,
with a mace,
yes,
and probably that's where I just want to believe that was where the governor proclaimed the house,
yes,
inaugurated. That ordinarily should be the authentic house. Now, the other aspect of some people going out there, unfortunately, this is Nigeria, and I hate to say that this is Nigeria on that ground. We've seen where people elect speakers or impeach speakers from hotel rooms in this same Nigeria. We've seen people fight, steal the maize,
Yes.
and the maize was recovered under the bridge in Lagos. I mean,
Yes.
we've seen all these things happen, and they go unpunished. Some of those people come out and we celebrate them, not even remember their antics. Hello, good evening, welcome.
Hello?
Yes, good evening and welcome to Legally Speaking.
Hello?
Hello, we are listening to you and we're hearing you loud and clear. All right, we heard the last caller loud and clear. Unfortunately, he might not have heard us. So please, if you're calling, just know we've heard you. If your call is picked, go ahead and talk, and we'll do justice to whatever questions you want to ask, and probably also allow you make your input on your opinion. So, Hannah, when we say unfortunately, this is hello, you're on to Legally Speaking. Please, if you call and you don't hear us, know we have heard you. If your number has been picked, just continue with your question or your observation. Thank you. So when we say unfortunately this is Nigeria, it paints a wrong picture of us. People don't care about the image of the country, their state, or even their images, personal images, as long as they are able to achieve what they want to achieve. And some of the things they want to achieve is not lawful.
That's right.
It's not even beneficial to them. All they want to do is make some noise, get their names on the tabloids as... Yes, hello. Yes, you're on to Legally Speaking. Hello. Micah, we're hearing you but faintly.
What?
Go on, we are listening to you.
I want to ask. Where God, the former where does he come from?
The former what?
I said the current president. Where does he come from?
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, if I must answer Micah that question, the current president is a Nigerian. Does it answer the question?
No,
he was a former Lagos State governor, so he should come from Lagos. I think that answers the question. The current president is a former governor of Lagos State, a senator representing Lagos State at a point, and he lives in Lagos. He's a Lagosian.
Yeah, so we should believe that he's from Lagos State.
He doesn't need to believe. That's the position of the law, right? He comes in from the Lagos State constituency. All right. Thank you for calling, Micah. I hope you can be more audible next time you call in. A lot of people want to hear you loud and clear. So,
what is the Constitution has a say in the emergence of the Speaker of the House?
Yes.
What does the Constitution say?
All right. Now, if you look at the Constitution does not have the nitty-gritty of the running of the House. There is what is called the House Rules. They have the House Rules and Ethics Committee that develop these House Rules and amend them in line to be sure that everything is done according to that their book, whether it's green or red or yellow. But that's the House Rules.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the Constitution concerns itself with the fact that upon the former House being dissolved, the President or the Governor would proclaim the new House as being inaugurated.
Yes.
Upon that proclamation, ensure the evolution and emergence of their leadership. Because every House must be governed or directed by a group of people who are deemed to be leaders of that House.
And it's the House members who
the House members elect them into these offices.
Okay.
So some of those offices could be like the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the minority leader, the majority leader, and so on and so forth.
That's right.
So those are the elective offices. Now, they also have what is called committees. These committees are appointed officers. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Welcome to Legally Speaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Go on, sir. We are listening to you.
Okay, it's all right. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate your program. And, yeah.
Thank you. Who is speaking, please? You didn't tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, I'm calling from Benue State.
Okay. Your name, sir?
Okay, I'm Levi.
Levi or Eli?
Levi, yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for your call. We really appreciate the call. You have a question for us or a contribution?
Oh, no. I just want to say you should keep it up. It is educative. I'm really enjoying it. Right now, I'm enjoying your program.
Thank you.
So just keep it up.
Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate it. All right, sir.
Okay, so yes, as you were saying, so the business of they continue the business of the house.
Buhari.
I can't remember his name.
His name was Buhari. When he was exposed, yes,
he
resigned from.
To go out of the house. They go somewhere, and does the law say about it?
All right. I see. Unfortunately,
yeah, we decide to, because there are procedures. It was the process, and people have elected. I don't think they are. Now you brought under the tree house with their.
Oh, good evening.
It doesn't make.
Yes, of course. Please, can you tell us? Can you? Micah, where are you calling from?
I said, why is it that way? Why?
But you see that some don't. But so far so good. Things will work out well. Thank you very much. Importance of the use of, all right. To a vision we had originally.
Okay.
Until people started fighting. Welcome to Legally Speaking.
Yeah, my name is Security Report at that complex. Public Caesar.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, if the governor had proclaimed the place and there are security issues with the house inaugurated, he didn't have any business waiting again to see whoever they wish to know would say their first time not city. So as long as there was a governor, the initial proclamation, the rest of it is history. So like I said, so we can round up for the legislative system, all right? But for provisions for that. But to say that for the house to look like a house, there should be agencies are running and hiding them under the bridge, and it still has program. We try to emphasize that, legally speaking, it's not purely a law program, but lawyers strictly. So we have lawyers and non-lawyers, because the callers are usually not lawyers alone. Other issues of law. My name is Anthony Ebuka, I'm a legal practitioner with law.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly are governed for, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. Cannot find